Doctor Who The Hungry Earth, the 8th episode of Series 5, is written by Chris Chibnall and starring Matt Smith, Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill. So yes, Stephen Moffat hired Chris Chibnall to write a two-part story, and Piers Wenger suggested Silurians, who last appeared on screen Warriors of the Deep.
And these human beings will die as they have lived, in a sea of their own blood.
So Chris Chibnall read Doctor Who and the Cave Monsters novel and watched Doctor Who and the Silurian story.
Hello. Are you a Silurian?
And Chibnall took the things from novel that Malcolm Hull can do on television and create a large city for Silurians under the surface. Though aware that Silurians are not as popular as monsters like Cybermen, Daleks and more. And he introduced them in a scary and terrifying way. They were planning to bring back sea devils as well, but decided that doing two races of monsters was much tougher, and the story is just focusing on Silurians and what they want. Both two-part stories are filmed in the Upper Boat Studio, Llanwna in Wales, in the late October and November 2009. So the story begins with Mo, not the guy working in the bar from The Simpsons, Mo Northover in Doctor Who reads the Gruffalo book to his son Elliot, who has dyslexic and can only listen to books. So then he went off to work on a night shift in a drilling project that was running by his father-in-law Tony Mack and Nazarene Chowdhury. So while he sits at his desk, the CCTV camera seems to go off, so he checked to see if everything's alright, but he noticed a big hole with smoke and then gets taken underground. So the TARDIS team arrived in Boomtaff on the next day. The Doctor does a bit of a jump, and Amy in a sexy outfit seemed to be disappointed because she was expecting to be at Rio. They saw the future Amy and Rory, so Rory decided not to allow Amy to run around with her ring on because it's expensive. So as the Doctor and Amy heads off, Rory puts Amy's ring back inside the TARDIS, and he ended up meeting Mo's wife, Ambrose, who thinks Rory's a police, judging by police box, and told him about the corpses in the grave disappeared, so he went to investigate. Meanwhile, the Doctor and Amy let themselves in to that mine gate. I love the Doctor's line when he says, "Sonic in and entering."
That is breaking and entering.
Where I break? Sonicking and entering. Totally different.
Well, they did say breaking and entering is illegal, but didn't say anything about sonicking and entering, so yeah. So they met Nazarene in the mine, who's investigating the hole, and the Doctor looks at the readings. Just after when Tony arrives, there's more holes coming, and Amy got sunk into one, and the Doctor kept trying to pull her back up, but he failed and Amy got taken.
Stay calm. You hold on. They can just shut down the drill.
I can't hold on!
Apparently, Karen Gillan stood on boxes and lowered herself into a stone compartment. There were two pieces of rubber were at the opening of the compartment, which expanded as she lowered herself down. A layer of soil was spread across the rubber. Karen Gillan's ears were taped to make sure that the soil does not get inside her ears. And apparently Karen was scared of performing that stunt because putting some of her fear and claustrophobia into the scene, as she expected Amy felt the same way.
Where is she?
She's gone.
So the Doctor figures out that there's something under the ground that's taken Amy, so they grab the scanners and the sky turns dark, and there's Rory telling the Doctor that the ground are eating bodies and wonders where Amy is. The Doctor promised Rory that he'll find Amy, so that the local church, they set up a network of cameras and security alarms around the church, and using Nazarene's scanner to monitor the pods while Elliot draws a map. Elliot has left his headphones, so the Doctor, while got distracted, let him go. Apparently Chris Chibnall enjoyed the Doctor separating from his companions, and Stephen Moffat thought it would be appropriate that the Doctor behaves differently with other people. Meera Syal played Nazarene Chowdhury, who's a geologist digging down into the earth further than any other human ever had before. With this episode being Amy Light, Chris Chibnall thought that Nazarene would be a practice companion. I really love that character. It would be nice if she was a companion. Meera Syal described her character as a very high up, innovative geologist, and she's been a fan of the show since childhood. Robert Pugh, who played Old Jonah in Torchwood Adrift in this episode, played Tony Mack, who works with Nazarene. He has a daughter, Ambrose, and grandson, Elliot. His son-in-law, Mo, played by Alan Raglan, does a night shift for a drilling project run and gets kidnapped by the Silurians in the beginning. Nia Roberts played Ambrose, who lives in the village of Cormtaf and has a son called Elliot, played by Samuel Davis. Elliot has dyslexic and he can't read books, so he preferred listening to them on audio, and seems to have great interests with Sherlock Holmes. Cast did an amazing job, their acting is great. Silurians, aka Homo reptilia, are Earth reptile. They live on Earth long before humans did, and they came to attack because they want the Earth back. And I do love the Silurian race, as they're pretty interesting. Stephen Moffat requested a new look to differentiate them from the 1970s look. The redesign aimed to make sure the Silurians are beautiful and more relatable, enhancing the story's theme of human-reptilian similarity. It also allows actors to act through prosthetics instead of stiff masks, and removing third eye to avoid looking similar to Davros. When Ambrose found out that the Doctor let Elliot go, he arrived at the church with Silurian around, so they tried their best to open the door, and by the time they did that, Elliot is gone. Ambrose is devastated but was about to get attacked by Silurian, but everyone helped and Tony gets attacked by the lizard tongue of a Silurian. So they manage to capture a Silurian while Amy is beneath the surface in a glass container. She gets put to sleep by a gas. After a scientist shushed her, the Doctor unmasked a Silurian who introduced herself as Alea, played by wonderful actress Neve McIntosh. So the Doctor explains his plan to Nazarene, Tony, Ambrose and Rory. So he goes to the TARDIS and Nazarene went with him. The Doctor advised her not to, as it could be dangerous, and I love it when she says, "So is crossing the road." It's brilliant, and fair point.
I don't have time to argue.
I thought we were in a rush.
It'll be dangerous.
Yes, that's crossing the road.
Oh, for goodness sake. All right, then. Come on.
So it gets taken underground, so there's Amy and Mo tied up on the chamber, and apparently Mo has already been dissected, which is horrifying, and it looks like a scientist Silurian was about to do the same thing with Amy. Uh-oh. So the Doctor Nazarene finds a Silurian city, which leads to cliffhanger.
Maybe more than a dozen. Maybe more like an entire civilization living beneath the earth.
Wow, what an episode. It's great that they brought Silurians back. I never know about them until this episode. What did you think of this episode? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching and see you next time.